You're listening to a Comics XF podcast.
X-Men. Get it!
Hey everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Battle of the Atom. This is your weekly X-Men podcast where we rank every story from A to Z.
I'm Adam.
And I'm the bad boy of X-Men podcasting, and I am the most relaxed werewolf in a skin suit. I'm Zach.
Yeah, I like your reclining beach chair here. You've got your umbrella out. You're wearing some sunscreen. This is good.
Well, you have to understand, out here in Kokomo, it's such a lovely time. Here's what they don't tell you.
Mm-hmm.
You get there fast, but then you take it slow.
You do have to take it slow, and you have to watch out for John Stamos on those bongos. So
look, that's where I want to go.
I know that song gets a bad rap, but it's a fun song. I don't know.
Song is perfectly fine. It's just it's just guys. They weren't comparatively. The Beach Boys weren't even that old when Kokomo came out.
Yeah, I think that's not a Brian Wilson jam either. That's like
that's the
problem.
jam. The problem is that Pet Sounds was Brian Wilson's baby and elevates the Beach Boys from just another poppy, rocky surf group to something greater in the canon of American rock music. So for their big release, 30 years past their prime, actually only like 20 some years past their prime, because what their prime would have been 68, something like that.
Sure.
I'm trying to remember when Pet Sounds comes out 67-ish, because it comes out the same year as Sgt. Pepper's.
Pet Sounds is 66, actually. I'm looking at
Okay. Is Sgt. Pepper's also 66?
Because, well, I think Sgt. Pepper's came after in 67 because I think the Beatles heard Pet Sounds and were like, oh, we got to step up our game.
Right. That is, yes. I knew they were interconnected. And then in 67, that comes out, and literally the next day, Paul and Eric Clapton go to a club to see Jimi Hendrix, who opens his set with a cover of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. And they're like, oh, crap. Folks, this has been 60s Music Corner on our vacation, because we're doing a vacation this week. We're old men now.
Yeah.
We're so old.
At least I am. You're still quite young.
Bud, I'm on the wrong side of 30. That's the thing.
I'm on the wrong side of 40. So.
Well,
you got some years to go before you.
I've got a couple more miles to tread, but we're getting there. I'm trying to make sure that I can live to those miles to enjoy some fantastic vacations.
That's right. And, regardless of your age, I feel like everybody deserves a vacation.
It's all I ever wanted.
This was a request, was it not?
This is a request from Patreon supporter Robert. If you want to be like Robert, you can go to patreon.com/battleoftheatom, reach deep down into your hearts and pocketbooks, and toss a couple of coins right into our coffers. You can join the Vanishers Posse at the $5 a month level. You will get a whole episode dedicated to your idea. Much like Hera or Athena popping straight out of Zeus's head. Your idea will pop onto your podcast feed in a certain amount of time.
And this is a great idea because the X-Men do frequently go on vacations or road trips or, stomp off into the wilderness because they're upset. And then something that's mostly bad. Wolverine, to be fair. Yeah, that's true. Or Cyclops. But,
Cyclops doesn't stomp off to... No. And we'll get into this in this episode. Cyclops turns around and flies to Alaska. That's where he gets sad at.
Yes.
Which
repeatedly.
I understand.
But every time they do go on some kind of trip, bad stuff tends to happen because they're superheroes. So
yes, because you need some sort of conflict, regardless of what certain segments of the internet may want you to think. A beach episode is bad, and you need to have something else going on. And that's what you get in our first story here. It's X-Men 92, number 5, The Adventures of Cyclops and Phoenix, The Last X-Man.
Okay, so this is written by Chad Bowers and Chris Sims, penciled by and inked by Corey Hampshire, colored by Matt Milla, lettered by Travis Lanham, and we get a really fantastic David Nakayama cover of Gene and Scott on the beach with their respective fun tropical drinks with the shadow of Sinister looking on.
I've got a David Nakayama fun fact that you will appreciate and pretty much no one else will.
I have another one when you're done, so go ahead.
So I have a child. He is 5 years old. He's a hellion at this point. And he was playing that video game Fortnite, which I'm going to be honest. I've played me some Halo. Heck, I was in college in 2010. I absolutely played Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Okay. I've played my fair share of shooty video games. Fortnite sucks.
Oh, not a fan.
Like as a game, the gameplay mechanics of Fortnite are bad, and I don't care for them. That aside, my son's playing and he's like, I love this skin. This is my favorite skin. And look, I even made my load screen this skin. And I look at the load screen and I look a little bit closer. It's like, I know that guy. I know that guy. I was like, bud, that guy's been on my podcast. Like, I've met him several times. He's honestly more casually friends with Adam than me, but that's okay. That's David Nakayama. Like, I could probably contact him and be like, he'd know who I was.
David has been...
He was not impressed, by the way. My son...
Kids never are.
Not impressed with all of the legitimately cool people that I'm like, oh yeah, I've gotten to meet that person. I know them.
We went to see Spider-Man Brand New Day last night, and my daughter was wearing a Spider-Man t-shirt. And I was like, that's a really cool shirt. I was like, huh. And then I was like, just messing with her because I know she doesn't know the answer to this question. I was like, you know who drew that? She's like, no. And I was like, that's Mark Bagley. And like, she's like, I don't care, Dad. It's just a Spider-Man shirt.
Honestly, guessing
cool
Mark Bagley drew a Spider-Man thing is like, that's got to be the gimme answer, right?
I mean,
John Romita Jr., it's Mark Bagley. I guess Todd, because his images are very ingrained in that 90s throwback stuff that's happening.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Anyway, back to this particular cover. I did just want to share. Over the years, David Nakayama has been very, very cool with us. You know, talked to him many times at cons. He's sort of a covers artist extraordinaire now, like huge lines, but back when he was just getting started, he was kind of more of just a fan and doing his thing. And I do recall reaching out to him via social media and asking him, I love this cover so much, this vacation cover. I think it's a lot of fun. I really like the detail of the cable volleyball that's down, or beach ball that's in the bottom left, because that's specifically referencing the Jim Lee poolside pinup from X-Men #1. So I was like, David, big fan. I don't know the next time I'm going to like see you at a con or whatever, but like, if I sent this to you, would you sign it? And David was like, absolutely. So like, he's very cool. He DMs me some contact info. It's like a PO box or something. Adam is stupid and doesn't put the comic book in a backboard with a bag. So comic gets to David fine. He's so nice. He signs it. I think he even made it out to me.
Yeah.
Mails it back to me. And of course, when it gets back to me, it's raining. So in one of my long boxes, I do have this comic book signed by David, and it is very waterlogged and
absolutely
all messed up.
CGC 0.5 signed by David Nakayama himself.
Yes. And since then, David signed other things for me, but I just love that story because he was so kind and yet I was so dumb.
We'll get to this comic, but are you a big signatures guy? Because I'm not.
Here's what I like about it is I like meeting creators and I like talking to them about their work. And I like having that signed cover as kind of like a memento of that experience.
I can appreciate that a lot because that's more of my experience at cons is like talking to people. Like,
Yeah.
hey, it's pretty cool that Chris Claremont and I got into a fight for over an hour once. I think I was talking to my wife about that the other day. I was like, that's kind of the best thing that's ever happened to me in comics. And I will cherish that.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not a signatures guy. And I always feel weird just going up to a table like, yo, what's up? What do you got for sale? And just talking about stuff. Like, it's totally wild.
See, I do think that there's like something basic about that being the way in which people communicate at cons is like
Yes.
signing a comic book, right? So like even after I do an interview for the show, like if we do a New York Comic Con or what we've done at C2E2, like oftentimes I have a comic or I buy a comic and I'm like, hey, could you sign this? This is, just a nice memento of our conversation. And I think that that's really fun. Like the one that I really treasure is my House of X #1, which is a blank sketch variant, but it has signatures from almost every single person that worked on that era. Like I think RB Silva is the one big holdout that because he just doesn't come to the US that often.
Yeah, I have almost all of the Dawn of X writers, with the exception of Zeb Wells.
Yep.
This is actually Curse of the Mutants X-Men #1.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
It is that with Matt Horick did a Nimrod on it, and it's got everyone with the exception of Zeb Wells because he wasn't at that show. I have talked to Zeb Wells since, mostly about HVAC.
Nice.
Because I was at a convention for HVAC and there was a Comic-Con right next door and I had the day off.
Love
so I was
this.
like, let's go. I got a press pass. It was great.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't do
and
it.
then I don't have Jonathan Hickman, which kind of is the big one.
Wait, how do you not have Jay Hicks? Because he was at C2E2. You didn't.
Oh no, I can tell you exactly what happened. I got busy talking with Leah and Vita.
Yeah.
We talked through his signing.
Oh, so wait, you weren't at the group signing when they were all signing together?
No, I was just hanging out with people.
Oh, okay. Because a bunch of us went through that. I don't know. I thought you were with us.
No, I was. This is not interesting. I was just hanging out with Leah and Vita. We were just chatting.
Listen, that is a great way to spend your time. We have not talked a minute about the contents of this comic book.
It's okay, which is weird. Normally we do that when we don't like a comic, and that's not the case for me.
No, this is X-Men 92. We have talked about this book a few times and really enjoyed this run that Chad and Chris put together here. And this is kind of the start of what was supposed to be, I think, a long running gag going through the background of the majority of the main stories, which is a spin on Adventures of Cyclops and Phoenix.
The pitch of it was that in between arcs, there would be a one-shot issue, one to help the artist catch up, and two to explore a different area and give you like a change of pace, which is something that Jordan D. White and Jerry Duggan did on Duggan's Deadpool. Like you would get these big arcs, and then you would get Deadpool's capers through time, and all this stuff. Like that is something that some of the folks related to this book were already doing, and I think it's an interesting pitch. I actually really like the pitch. It's unfortunate that X-Men 92 does not continue past 10 issues.
So we really only get
unfortunate because
two of these, and then it kind of like kicks back and like just resolves.
We get like 1.5 because they have to. They have to resolve this in one of the later issues.
Yep.
So this is exactly what you're saying. A riff on Adventures of Cyclops in Phoenix. They get sent to the future. I mean, look, they do an Adventures of Cyclops in Phoenix. Mother Ascani's here. They get sent to a super future, and there's all these bad people. Blacksmith is there. Anyway, they have to fight Mr. Sinister's Essex Men, which are weird clones of Scott and Jean in super gross ways. One of them, Scott looks like a Armin Zola.
Yep.
Another one, Jean Grey has brains for hands, which is super funny to me. They have to fight. But eventually they find out what all these genetic experiments were for. And that is, of course, Cable. It's Cable.
Yeah. Who's in a little egg.
A little egg. Not
Yep.
like Nanny.
No.
It's an incubation egg.
Yes.
Sinister is like, well, I hate Apocalypse because he was mad. He was mean to me. So I'm making a thing to kill Apocalypse. And it is subject Cab 1E.
Well, I love that when they pop the egg open. I first of all, you're doing a great job summing up some of what's happening here, but we have to.
It doesn't do it justice. That's the thing. I'm just reciting plot points.
Yeah, we have to just really stress this book is very funny. Like,
this book's a good joke.
It's filled with little gags, either from the writers or from Hampshire, who's doing the art. For example, very first page, you've got Jean and Scott both in sweaters, and they are playing the 90s X-Men board game Under Siege, which is very funny. Like, as they're going towards the Sinister base, they are fighting off like robot Deadpools. They're fighting off a Tyrannosaurus Rex that has optic blasts. Like, it's a very fun and silly twist on some of the stuff that we already know, which is, the whole concept of this book is it's not an extension of the television show. It's an extension of the Secret World Wars Battle World version of an extension of the television show.
Which, I mean, look, it's an extension of the television show. It's fine. It was an extension of the television show before they did an extension of the television show.
Yeah, but it is really fun reading this, having like just very recently seen X-Men 97 tackle this exact same thing and try and put their spin on it.
We have to broach the topic. Who did it better?
I mean, they did it so quickly in the show. This is fast too, but this is more fun. Too.
Yeah, here's the thing. We've talked about X-Men 97 on this podcast. I would say maybe controversial. I actually have no idea what people are saying about this season. I am not paying attention. I don't think X-Men 97 is incredible. And I thought the start of this season was super rough with this Adventures of Cyclops and Phoenix that they did bad. And then I read it and I'm like, I'm reading the good version of this weirdly niche thing already. I have this. This is good. You guys are dragging it out and making it boring. And then they spent a really good Jubilee episode. No disagreement on that. That was fantastic. No notes. Some notes, but it's fine. Then they do 2 episodes about a Ben Robb comic. Brother. You don't need to. You don't need to do 2 hours about a 2 episodes, excuse me, 2 half-hour episodes about a Ben Robb comic. The source material isn't that good. You didn't have to do that.
I don't know. We just watched the most recent episode this afternoon. I thought it was fine. It does make me laugh occasionally, but it doesn't make me laugh. I don't think it's trying purposefully to make me laugh. I'm like, God, that was so silly. Whereas here, there are gags. Like, there's a countdown clock. Yeah, there's a countdown clock for Apocalypse Return, which is what? 6 years, 6 months, 6 days. So it says the mark of the beast,
yes,
there's very funny good. Gags.
It's very good that Cable immediately says, when do I get a gun?
Yeah, exactly.
He's a child.
Yeah.
And it's super great that they flash forward just a little bit, or they travel through time. Scott and Jean does, because Mother Ascani's not trying to send them back, but because she's dying, because she kills Sinister, they start to fade back into the timeline, and they fade back into X-Men 2099 times, and get me very excited. Now, do they do the thing where they don't remember that Metalhead only looked like that for the first 6-ish to 8-ish issues of the book? Yes, but whatever. That's people don't actually. No one else has read X-Men 2099. No one thinks about it. No one thinks about how Bloodhawk is not necessarily a ongoing concern.
He's just a guy flying around somewhere. I got a kick. I have not reread this in a while, and I really enjoyed it. I liked when this story was coming out. I really wish it had gotten like up to 25 or something like that, and just gotten to stretch its legs. We've said this many times on the show when we've talked about this book.
And look, I get it. I was already someone basing a lot of my personality around a parasocial relationship with Chris Sims before this book came out. So it was very much made for me. But I will say, it wasn't just you and me. It was all good people with good taste, because two of our friends have back-to-back letters in the letters column of this very issue, which I find hilarious.
Now I've got to look. I didn't even.
Do you not know about this? Oh, this is one of my favorite X-Men fun facts. Yeah, it's Thomas and Charlie.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
what a blast from the past here, man.
They both have letters right after this.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much.
It's so good.
That completely.
Because why would you? Who was actually reading the letters pages to X-Men 92?
You apparently. It
was me.
But
it was
yeah.
Me. Yeah.
So I enjoyed this a great deal. I have a very soft spot for this. Chad was very supportive when I was doing Bish and Jubes. So I feel like there's sort of a kinship in the energy between what they're putting down on the page and what I was trying to do with that goofy thing.
Are you saying that potentially, Adam?
Yeah.
Potentially half of the podcast that I stole the conceit for this podcast from has some synergies with how you and I approach comic books.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Is that possible? I don't know. It's
very, very possible. But I think this is made by like-minded creators, and I think both of us get a kick at it. So we should try and rank this on our big old list.
That's right, because we are, in fact, doing the bit that I did steal from Chris Sims's podcast, War Rocket Ajax, and ranking every X-Men story of all time from best to worst. We have ranked a whopping 1,188 different X-Men comics, with the best being the House of X Powers of 10, the 300th best being the Sabretooth miniseries by Lethal Larry Hama and Mark Teixeira, the 600th best being Excalibur Food Fight. I believe Sugar Man is in that one. The 900th best being the Revenge of the Living Monolith original graphic novel. And the worst X-Men comic of all time is my truly hated 2099 World of Tomorrow.
Well, we have some X-Men 92 on the list, doing very well here. At 98 is the original Battle World series. At 102 is the first 4 issues that came before this. And then a little farther down at 319, we have the Lila Palooza arc that comes right after this that concludes the book. So
this is better than Lila Palooza at 319.
I think this is better than Lila Palooza. I don't think it's as good as The World is a Vampire at 102.
No, it's absolutely not as good as The World is a Vampire.
So if we're in the are we in the 200s?
Yeah, we're in the 200s. Here's here's one. At 243 is John Allison's Kitty and Wolverine comic.
Oh, that's a good comparison. I kind of like that better.
Yeah, I think Kitty and Wolverine works better too. We just had to think through it. But yes, I think that works better.
Mm-hmm.
Cable -1 is at 248, and that is not a better told story. However, Cable -1 is so dope looking that if there's one issue with this, is that Corey Hampshire is not of the same artistic quality as we've gotten on the other arcs of this book.
Yeah, I think Corey does a nice job. I think he's a good fit for this story. Yeah. I don't know if he's as good as the series regular, but
look, you tell an artist, be like, I don't know if you did as good as Jose Ladron. They'd be like, yeah, duh, probably.
Right.
Have you seen his stuff? It's so good.
I don't think this is as good as a 255 giant size little Marvel AVX,
but it's spiritually very similar.
Yes,
this is okay.
I
think at 262 is Uncanny X-Men Volume 3, number 14. It's the Morph issue.
Bendis. Yes.
Is this better or worse than that?
I think I would want to go a little bit lower. At 274, we have The Secret Life of Eva Bell.
Oh, yeah, this isn't as good as Secret Life of Eva Bell.
At 276, we have Master Mold issues of Uncanny. But Yeah, I just saw. Gosh, you know what? I think I could maybe slot it ahead of 282, which is Magic Volume 2.
I actually think that's 100% right, which puts it right below the first 4 issues of Immortal X-Men.
That's a great place for it. Okay, so our new 282 is X-Men 92.
Folks, if
number 5.
If you are not like me and you are enjoying X-Men 27, 97, whatever 7 it is, and more power to you. But if you're enjoying that and you haven't read X-Men 92, get off your butts and read X-Men 92. Here's all I'm saying. They weren't calling it X-Men 92 before this, and they wouldn't have called it X-Men 97 if it wasn't for this.
That's fair. And it's a lot of fun. So if people did miss out on that, check it out. And we're going to turn our attention to 1998. This is another time that the X-Men, specifically the 05, went on vacation. This is another Alaska story. But this is Uncanny X-Men 356 and 357. This is Steve Siegel. We've got a beautiful first issue here, drawn and inked by Chris Bachalo and Tim Townsend, with colors by Steve Buccellato and letters by Richard Starkings. And unfortunately, the second issue is not done by that team. No. It is penciled by Dan Norton, inked by Dexter Vines and Scott Hanna. So kind of a disappointment there.
Bachalo had done like a good number of the issues right before this. So
yes, he sure had.
It wasn't like he was slacking.
No.
He needs something. This is not the end of the Steve Siegel run, but this is like the last actual. It feels like it's the last actual thing that Steve Siegel like wanted to write.
Yeah. Before we talk about the comic itself, just want to comment on the awesome cover to 356, which is the 05. You know, Scott's wearing his Jim Lee outfit. Jean is in her Phoenix outfit. But I just want to remark on this because this particular image was reprinted onto, it was one of a series of little Matchbox cars that have X-Men covers on them. And for some reason I stumbled onto this one day and I have this on a little Matchbox car. It's not from Matchbox. I forget who the manufacturer was.
Tell you what, the people who like licensees love using Chris Bachalo art.
Sure.
They do. Because I have a deck of cards that are X-Men themed.
Yep. I do too.
About half of them are Chris Bachalo art.
Yeah.
Are they cohesive? Yeah. No. But.
All right. So what is going on in this story, Zach?
So the original 5 X-Men are, well, I say the original 5. Scott and Jean have already, after Scott had a bomb in him and after the Operation Zero Tolerance, they have already decided, hey, we got to go to Alaska for a little bit. We need to take a break. And then they're like, well, we kind of miss our friends. So they call up the other boys in the original 5 X-Men. That's Bobby Drake. That's Warren Kenneth Worthington III. That is Hank McCoy. And they're like, you want to come to Alaska and hang out for like a week? And they say yes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, strange things are happening in Alaska. The 05ers going through, honestly, a really like nice, quiet character moment where they're all like, I don't know what to do next. Like, feel like we're kind of in a weird spot here. Mm-hmm. And there's not a place for us. Maybe we've grown through this. I don't know what to do. And then a bunch of strange things are happening, and the townsfolk start freaking out that there might be some sort of bird demon going on. There's not.
That's unclear, but so
sometimes there's just a lot of birds in Alaska. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So Steve Siegel like either watched Hitchcock's The Birds and got really excited, or something is going on here, because the villain of this is either toxic waste or a perhaps mentally unwell Inuit man who's shouting about crows.
Oh yeah.
We don't really know. And I think the latter explanation, does he turn into a crow on the last panel of this comic book?
I didn't read it as him turning into a crow.
It's weird. His eyes roll. The art is unclear on what is happening with this character. This guy has been like yelling at Bobby and then yelling, and the local sheriff is like, yeah, this guy just always yells about like taking credit for terrible that's happening, right? And like Bobby is like, no, this guy, blah, 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 blah. And at the very end of the thing, they've blamed the bird attack on toxic waste and industrial chemicals, and this guy's eyes roll back, smoke comes out of his eyes, and a crow like laughs, and it's like the end, huh? It's like,
read
what happened?
It's a twist.
Yeah,
that's the problem. I enjoy the character stuff in this book, specifically in the first issue. I think there's a lot of really good moments with everybody.
Yep.
I don't care at all about this bird plot.
No, in fact, I think doing it in the way that Siegel does, while he does have the X-Men speak up for local indigenous communities, he's playing with fire here by making this one character who is potentially responsible for what's going on also be portrayed as a crazy person.
By 1998 standards, this is a deeply ethical approach, and like this is the most progressive that you're going to get, to be fair.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think by our standards today, there's a little bit of a discourse quagmire here.
By our standards, an editor would have been like, "Hey, Steve, just like let's game theory this one out for a second.
Yeah, let's think this through for a second
from all angles,
even just from a logic perspective."
Well, look, again, Marvel had no money to pay for editors in 1998. Yeah. By 1998 standards, Steve Siegel is trying. He has put in a good effort into it, and like there's a lot of challenging material in X-Men that at a certain point there's only so much that I'm going to be like, okay, this one's the rough one. Nah, there's way worse. Have you read New Mutants? Yeah. We love Demon Bear. Demon Bear, not ideal.
So I will say the first issue in particular, really beautifully illustrated. You get these outstanding compositions with motifs and patterns in the background of feathers and trees and other things. There's some really interesting kind of like surrealism in what it is that he's doing. Chris has this scene with it's Hank and Bobby, I think, who are sitting. I forget who's sitting on a bed, but it's
Hank and Scott. It's Hank and Scott.
Thank you. And the bed, they're both sitting on it, and what's around them is normal, but the bed begins to kind of surreally extend behind the other panels so that it takes up a good third of the page. I love little things like that where he's experimenting with layouts and the way in which images can fall behind panels, images can become wallpaper, images can do this and that. And there's a couple
especially on that page, what he's doing is he's taking what would be a very boring talkie scene and he's framing the whole thing in an interesting way. Like some of my least favorite pages are talking heads, a lot of speech balloons. Maybe it's just over a splash or something. This is Bachalo saying, hey, there is no action happening here except for two friends talking. So I could do like a Wally Wood, a lot of panels thing. I could do like a big splash. And what he does is he frames it in a very narrow view. So you're just looking straight down across the whole thing with that extended bed that Adam's talking about. Like until you brought this up, I didn't like think deep on this page, but this is a super interestingly laid out way to do that much dialogue.
Yeah. And then, you go to the next scene where Bobby is doing a terrible job of tending to the fireplace, and he's exaggerating. I mean, the fire does get out of control, but he's exaggerating the amount of smoke that's coming out of this so that the entire 4-panel background is all crosshatched clouds in the background, right?
Okay, and look at those clouds. Look at the clouds just a half second closer. What he did.
Oh, it's the Phoenix too.
The smoke cloud's the Phoenix, because one of the things that's happening in this, one of the subplots is that Jean is embracing the Phoenix Force and be like, hey, this is my best costume and we all want to see me wear it. So we're going to do that. But also, maybe I can just be the Phoenix and be good. Like,
Yeah.
can I do that? And that plot doesn't go anywhere until Grant Morrison picks it back up or does something very similar.
Yeah.
I can't imagine Grant Morrison reading these comics, but
you never know. I also like the bottom
Grant Morrison
half
might have
of that
been a Steve
page.
Siegel fan. Who knows?
Who knows? I also like the bottom half of that page where Chris and Tim evoke a Silver Age effect to do a flashback based on what Bobby is saying.
It's got
Did we
the
mention that
halftone
Bobby
all
is
over
wearing
it.
a stupid snowboarder jester hat the entire time this story is happening?
We didn't, but it's great. It's not as good as Hank McCoy's disguise outfit, which is a Tommy Hilfiger hat and a scarf around his face.
Yeah. So yeah, when the second issue rolls around and it's not the same art team, it's a real disappointment. The Inuit person who's drawn incredibly stylistically for a panel in the first issue looks completely different and not really interesting in the second one. It's just, I don't know. It's kind of a letdown. It's not terrible. There's some okay art here too.
That's the thing. It is perfectly okay. That's when you get the moment that Jean's switching back to her Phoenix stuff.
Yeah.
And I wish that there was a better art team doing that.
Yeah.
This should be a bigger moment.
The one page that does work in the second issue is where Jean is sort of flashing back to the 05 and they're all briefly in their original costumes before you realize, no, it's still the present. I liked that.
I do like that because it's look how much everyone has changed. And it works pretty well, except for Bobby really hasn't changed, but maybe there's something to what they're saying there. I will say I kind of got mad at that because if you look at what they're wearing in the Silver Age thing, they weren't all wearing those outfits at the same time.
No.
Warren is wearing his 70s like Defenders Champions-y kind of thing. So that was after. B. Scott and Jean are in their graduation uniforms. Bobby is Snowman Bobby from early Silver Age. And then I'm like, and that's a me problem because storytelling wise, they're doing what they need to do for 99% of the people. And even people who don't read X-Men, they can be like, okay, she's remembering what they used to be like. Got it.
Yeah.
But then you get weirdos like me.
Yep.
So we just got to deal with that, I guess. It's like when I get mad about the Thieves Guild and the Assassins Guild and wondering why someone would dedicate an entire episode of television about them and then do it again and again and make it bad. But you know what? We can't all have nice things.
No.
These are me problems.
So yeah, this is one half of an interesting kind of thing. I think Siegel is a little heavy-handed on the yucks. We got to tell a joke every couple panels, especially with the Bobby dialogue, but it's fine. It's fine. I was totally on board, but I just feel like the second issue is a little bit messy and
it is.
It wraps up way too quickly and it's not particularly interesting. Like the character stuff is, but the we're being attacked by birds stuff is not.
No, I will say this is about the dose of the 05 that I want.
Yeah.
I do not want an 05 book. I do not want, we should do a whole movie about the original 5 X-Men. No one wants that. I don't want to read X-Men First Class. The 05 as a unit are not incredibly interesting. The reason why the Bendis thing worked was because Cyclops was a really interesting character at the time and made for really good dynamics and changes, and Jean Grey wasn't on board, which you can tell because Angel and Iceman and Beast were not given much to do during the Bendis run.
That was a great aside.
I had to defend it because someone was going to be like, but he likes the Bendis run, and I do, and I also like X Factor sometimes, but really, if I want them as a team, it's like hey, we're going to do one thing where we're a team and then we go back to the other character dynamics that work better. And by that, I mean taking Iceman and Angel out of the X-Men books. And
there you go.
Somewhere. I love them. They don't have a plot. They're very much the Colossus of their time, which we'll get to that.
We'll get to Colossus in a second. We have the arc.
Colossus. And what is that accent? What is that accent on the show? I know it's the accent that he had in the 90s cartoon. What is that accent?
Yeah, it left something to be desired, but
something to be desired.
At
We should rank it.
373, we have the previous arc to this, which is where they fight Sauron with Alpha Flight.
This is not as good as that arc.
This is not nearly as good as that. So I'm not sure if we're even in the 400s, maybe more.
At 600 right now, we have Ultimate Wolverine versus Hulk. Is this better or worse than that?
I think that's better.
Sometimes you just got to rip off a Band-Aid and go like really low and get a gut check from everybody. That's how you have to approach this. First X-Men is at 709. This is better than First X-Men.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. Is this better than Jean with tentacle arms at 704? No. Okay, great.
What's X-Men? Which one is X-Men Legacy?
Is that the Monet stuff with
X-Men the Marius stuff? Yeah. With Emplate. Yeah, that is. That stuff's better than that. This is better than Extreme X-Men Expose, though. Okay,
so our new 706 is Uncanny X-Men 356 and 357. I'd say half of a successful story, and apparently cover art good enough for a Matchbox car. Let's talk about one more time that the X-Men went on vacation, and this is a comic book that I had never heard of.
Have you never? Adam.
Yes.
I feel like Ben Robb comes up in your household more than the average household.
Now, I did have to ask Anna, the illustrious Dr. Papard, if they had covered this on Gosh Golly Wow, and I'm not sure if it was referenced. I don't know if they got a full devoted episode to this, but this is a one-shot called Colossus. This is officially considered Colossus Volume 1, Number 1. There is no Number 2. And this is essentially Ben Robb sending Colossus and Megan to Paris right after Captain Britain got lost to the time stream. So this
it's not right after. It is... And I only know this because I know where this connects and leaves to Ben Robb's Excalibur. So This is while he is still lost in the time stream. There is a subplot where Megan and Colossus are getting closer and closer to one another. Yes. And this is kind of Robb's culmination of that. Well, not really culmination because it culminates at the wedding. But regardless, this is where a lot of that comes to a head. It's Ben Robb and Brian Hitch, who, I'll be honest, good pick for a book that's heavily inspired by Alan Davis.
Yeah.
Especially when Paul Neary's inking them.
Paul Neary is inking it. You've got Jason Wright on colors and letters by Richard Starkings. This is also an arcade story. So why don't we get into what is going on here? They are... First of all, kind of Colossus is flirting. Megan's kind of more interested in going to a theme park.
Okay, but you say Megan's not flirting. What is she wearing?
This I had questions about because in the very first scene, she's kind of wearing like, I don't know, like a bathing suit thong bottom.
Yeah, well, she is in Paris, but they are French cut briefs.
Yeah, sure. And Colossus kind of leaps off the hotel balcony, damaging the street below with her in his arms. And I'm like, oh, they're going out like this? Okay. I don't know.
She's wearing that with a matching bra. So maybe this was beachwear. And she has a cover up, but it's not really a cover up. It's more of a very tight crop top.
Sure.
Now, Colossus, cowardly, is not in a very tight crop top, but he could be. If this was 1988, he would absolutely be in a crop top right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that feels like a mistake on Brian Hitch's part to not give him
He's wearing Jordans, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
He's wearing some Jordans. He's wearing he's wearing jorts, and he's wearing a tank top, but like a gym cutoff, which I actually feel like Colossus should wear more. Like that would be the ideal Colossus. But I also kind of think that because for somewhere on the internet at one point, you could get a t-shirt that was the Gold's Gym logo, but instead of the guy in there, it was Colossus. And I was like, that's good. That's a good one.
That's fun.
I would wear that to the gymnasium.
Yeah. Now, Colossus doesn't take Megan directly to the theme park. Instead, he decides to go first to the Musée d'Orsay, which is not a great idea for an empath like Megan, because she is experiencing the emotions of everyone around her as they look upon these artworks, and getting kind of like upset and happy and everything that comes along with people reacting to art.
It is so weird. To be clear, Megan does take a tablecloth and turn it into a skirt before going to the museum.
That is true. That is true. They do end up at Dudley World.
Not Disney World. It's fine.
Just based on a dragon that Megan likes, I guess. And it's closed for renovations.
Doing a Disney World.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a callback to National Lampoon, which is something I don't know if readers really wanted to see, but they encounter a character right after this that we have not seen in quite some time. And it took me a second to remember this was supposed to be Amanda Sefton's stewardess roommate.
You're talking about Elizabeth Wilford?
Yes. All the way back from Uncanny X-Men 98. Of course, this is not actually that person. This is Miss Locke.
It's Miss Locke. Is Miss Locke? This is a robot Miss Locke. I don't know when we stopped getting robot Miss Locks, but this is a robot Miss Locke.
Yes. The Wikipedia, the Marvel wiki claims that this is the first appearance of the android replica of Miss Locke.
Okay, I guess Miss Locke has been dead since Wolverine Gambit victims.
Yes. So she had officially died about 3 years later, and it is made clear in these. Did we mention this is oversized? This is 42 pages of content.
This is 42 pages about two characters not dating.
But Miss Locke is a robot, and is working, of course, with this is a robot, working for Arcade. So this is an Arcade story.
So Arcade captures them and makes people go through a lot of feelings. So Colossus is forced to confront all of his moral failures, like being an acolyte that one time after his sister died and having a hard time about it. By the way, look, I'm sorry. We already started the episode with this, so I'm going spoilers for X-Men 97. Buck wild use of Ileana in that television show.
Oh my God, that was wild.
Absolutely. So many hoops that you had to jump through to make those decisions when she is objectively the breakout X-Men character for multimedia over the last while. Like,
yeah,
insane too. I bet when they make that new X-Men movie that you've seen Spider-Man, so you know that they're going to make, when they make that new X-Men movie, I bet you that they put Ileana in that before they put Colossus in it.
There are a lot of rumors swirling that as of this recording, we're recording on August 6th, that D23 is coming up and that they are going to announce the full cast. We did get our Cyclops today. I don't know if you saw that.
Know any of these children. I know the girl from Stranger Things. They're like Samara Weaving, and I'm like, honest to God, I don't know that woman.
You don't know who Samara Weaving is?
Kit Connor? I don't know that child.
That I don't know. I don't know who Kit Connor is, but Samara Weaving you should know. She's really good and in some really
She's
fun
younger
movies.
than me. That's no.
Zach refuses to know anyone younger than him, including his own children.
No, hold on. No, Emma Frost isn't younger than me.
Zach, this is perfect.
Emma Frost is not younger than me.
Zach, this is perfect casting. Let me tell you, if you've ever seen a Samara Weaving in her movie, you will be like, this is about as perfect a casting as possible.
Honestly, I'm looking at her IMDb, and I don't think I've ever seen this woman in literally anything. You
are missing out. She is a really great, really fun actress who's in some really fun, great movies.
Yeah, I'm looking at all of
this year. She was in Ready or Not 2, which was freaking awesome. I just
don't
watched
know that movie.
Caroline. She was really good in that. I also watched a movie she was not so good in called Over Your Dead Body, I think it was called, with
She
Jason.
played Scarlet in the Snake Eyes movie that came out in 2021. We all remember the Snake Eyes movie that came out in 2021, right?
Yeah, just take my word for it. She's incredible, and that's good casting, regardless of whatever else we see.
Look, the MCU has honestly always had great casting. Like they're batting really high in terms of casting. It all comes down to execution, buddy.
Absolutely. Okay, back to Colossus.
Wait, just out of curiosity, when you said the D23 thing, is there rumors that Magic will be part of that?
I haven't heard anything about characters.
That would have been
just that they were gonna unveil.
Honestly, X-Men's one of the few things where you could make a whole cast and be like, we probably need to put a boy in it. We probably need to put another boy on this team just to appeal to a wider audience.
All the best X-Men are women.
But I believe it. I have said it frequently.
Well, speaking of more than one boy, we do get after Colossus has to deal with the horrific death of his family yet again. We have to have Colossus versus who, Zach?
The Proletarian.
The Proletariat. That is right.
Here's the thing about the Proletarian. Unironically rules. And in fact, as we get deeper and deeper into our future, it's like, yes, rise up, my brother. Unfortunately, there's a real tie to Stalinism in the Proletarian, and that part's not great. It's the Stalinism for me that I can't get over. I can power to the people and all of that.
Colossus dressed as Super Mario. I mean, come on. That's just fun.
Honestly, I feel like there's something you could do with overalls as Colossus's design. Like doing an overall based thing with him, because you get the bare chest. You would get the bare metal chest as a design, and because he's metal and strong, it would be a little slutty, which makes for a good X-Men costume. That looks like a costume that Chris Claremont would have approved. Sure. If he was just wearing, like, I'm imagining Jack from Mass Effect 2, but on Colossus, like her outfit, but on our Russian friend.
Go for it.
Does that reference do anything for you?
No, but
got it. Thank you.
I'm still going to agree with you because I know
it was a great reference. What you're going to do after this podcast is you're going to look up Jack from Mass Effect 2 and you're going to see a design and you're going to be like, Zach, that was a very funny joke that you made.
I'm looking it up right now and yeah. Okay. I could see that. Yeah. Sure.
Because she's a mean lady who's not wearing a shirt. Man, she's Mass Effect 2.
Tattooed lady.
Oh yeah. She's got a tragic backstory. Anyway, I think if Colossus wore exactly that with like overalls, but like an overall thing, it would be the coolest thing that's ever existed. Yeah, or not. I don't know.
Unfortunately, right about this point where Colossus defeats the Proletariat robot, this is where the issue really falls apart. Because Arcade reveals that he has kidnapped them so that he can have them fake his death so that Black Arrow will get off of his case. So then there's a scenario that plays out where Colossus is supposed to kill Arcade, but Megan isn't in on the joke. And then it looks like Colossus dies. But anyway, this still does get Black Arrow off of their case somehow. It's very unclear. And the issue ends with everyone sort of like in disguises, like getting on a ship. I believe it's the QE2. While Black Arrow is like, cocking their rifles in the foreground. And I'm like, okay.
There's not much to this. That's the thing.
This never gets followed up on.
I think Megan and Colossus just kind of get back with the team is what
exactly.
That part gets set. This is a Never the End comic. It does end with Never the End.
Never the end.
Never the end. Now, would Colossus ever get another solo book? Yes, but I can only think of one other Colossus solo book.
But doesn't he have an Origins book?
Does he? I don't know. I bet I could just type in Colossus Volume 2 on the Marvel Wiki.
Yes, he has X-Men Origins Colossus
There's not
Bloodlines?
not a Colossus Volume 2. Colossus
No.
Bloodlines is the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, those are the only ones that I can think of because
And
God's
then
Country is MCP.
Yeah, and then it's the MCP story, and then there is the Magic and Colossus miniseries, which I have not read, and I want to because I actually really liked that Magic book. I didn't talk about that on the podcast just because it hasn't come up, but I read that, like, the 5-issue Magic series. Pretty good. I liked it.
Hard to go wrong with that Herman Peralta art.
Friggin' Herman Peralta really does elevate so much. I wish Herman Peralta drew this. Brian Hitch is fine. He's just like, it's 1997, so he's not Brian Hitch yet. You know?
Yep.
Perfectly solid artist. Just he's not 100% there.
So we just mentioned Colossus Bloodline. That's down at 742. Is this better or worse than that?
This is worse than Colossus Bloodline.
Okay. All right.
Wait.
So
honestly, I don't remember jack about Colossus Bloodline except for the Rasputin thing and the fact that his Savage Land kid shows up.
Yeah, sure does.
They're like, hey, you remember Petey Pureheart getting it on with some Savage Land ladies? Man, I love Chris Claremont. I'm thinking about him so much right now.
I don't know. I don't know if this is better or worse than that. Like,
I have no other memory about Colossus Bloodline, and I've read that comic more than once.
Like,
what
this is kind of just a nothing thing. Like,
it's worse than Colossus Bloodline because at 745 is X-Force Annual number 2, the first Adam X, the Extreme appearance, and this is not as good as that.
Okay.
Another trick when you're ranking giant lists, folks, sometimes if you're stuck on something, pick something above or below it and be like, absolutely not that. And then you're like, great. So then you can work from there.
I would say this is better than at 795, though. The Excalibur 96 to 100, the London Hellfire Club.
Man, you ever think of how many bad X-Men comics there are? I keep forgetting when we scroll down
quite a few
too far into this list.
Quite a few.
Fine, I'll put it above the London Hellfire Club. I don't care, actually. Is this better or worse than the Cyber Eye or the Murder Circus or the Curse of the Mutants?
No.
I
actually don't even think it's better than Blood Ties at 794.
Screw it. It's going under Blood Ties.
Okay, great. So this
Man, why?
795 Colossus is one shot. It is on Unlimited, which I was surprised by.
It's because they did they do a Robnibus?
Yeah, probably. It's probably in like either that or an Epic collection.
I'm sure they did a Ben Rob Excalibur Epic collection.
Yep.
I do love the idea of a Ben Robnibus.
A Robnibus? Like a Robnibus? A Robnibus?
Yeah, it's different. You know what? I honestly do believe Ben Robb, probably a great guy to talk to about his X-Men. I don't want to read it, and he probably doesn't want to talk to me because he probably thinks I'm mean if he knows I exist, which I doubt. But like, it's just like,
I'm not talking to you. You're mean.
If I'm Ben Robb and I don't work in comics anymore, and there's some punk in Indiana talking about how much I sucked 30 years ago, no, I don't want to talk to that guy. Why would I?
Yeah, that's fair.
Fair. He would be the bigger man to talk to me, is what would happen.
Yeah.
Regardless, I don't have Ben Robb's number, and I'm going to
let's not bother him. Let's thank our patron.
I can do both.
You can do both at the same time.
Listen. Am I using my work login for Zoom info to figure out if I can figure out who Ben Robb works for these days? Absolutely. He's got an uncommon last name, and I can do that while thanking Patreon supporter Robert. If you want to be like Robert, you can go over to patreon.com/battleoftheatom, reach deep down into the parts and pocketbooks, and join the Vanishers Posse. You know he has one of those, and it's what I'm calling our patrons right now.
I love it. I love the Vanishers Posse. Thank you for sticking with us, folks.
He was the co-executive producer for Quantum Leap?
Wait, the reboot?
Yeah.
I don't think anybody watched that.
Well, cool. It's back to Ben Robb's standard. Anyway, I found Ben Robb's phone number. Continue. You should not have information on the internet. As a businessman, I can find it.
That's
It
true.
is,
You have connections.
Adam, I'm going to be honest. It is unfortunate how much information is just out there. And I don't love it, but I do need to call people and get their phone numbers in sales. So I do utilize it.
Yeah.
Normally they want to talk to me. Adam, what do you have to plug? I'm sorry.
So folks can check out our Austin and I reviewed the latest Uncanny, as we do every 2 to 3 weeks, because that book comes out all the time. What else is going on? I think that might be it. Oh, Anna and I are appearing on an upcoming episode of Escape the Mojoverse. We are talking with Matt and Allison about some stuff that's from Decimation. So that should be out kind of by the end, like towards the end of August.
All I'm
we're
saying,
recording
any
that
X-Men
soon.
podcasts, any X-Men podcasts who want to ask me to be on the podcast, I'm more than happy to be asked. I'm not saying I'll do it by any means. I'm a busy man.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying.
But check that out.
I have a weird itch right now, Adam, is what's happening.
Okay.
I've got a weird, it's because I'm not traveling so much. Like I have this nervous energy.
Yeah. And folks can always follow on social, Adam Rec on Blue Sky and Instagram. Zach, what are we doing next week?
Next week, we are going to make you read Civil War, Adam.
Oh, no. It's finally happening.
I put it on the podcast as you told me you hadn't done it. So I'm forcing you to read Civil War. But until then, folks, this has been Battle of the Atom. We hope you survived the experience.
Get it!